Following Leeds' 1-0 loss to relegation rivals Nottingham Forest yesterday, Jesse Marsch was sacked. He said after the... I'm not laughing at this, by the way. He said after the game, he's to blame for the way Leeds have been playing in recent weeks.
I take full responsibility. I'm not shying away from that at all. And all the responsibility has to fall on me because it's my job to make those guys into winners. And that's where we're at.
We'll take calls on this in just a moment, 03717 223344. But first, let's get the views now from the former Leeds defender. Danny Mills joins us on Drive. Hi, Danny, how are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy birthday, Darren.
Cheers, Danny. Cheers, mate.
Oh, that's nice. What'd you get him?
Nothing.
Oh, same as last year. I like the way you just went straight to the point. No, the post is bad nowadays. Listen, I'm going to start with the obvious question, Danny. Are you surprised by this sacking, or are you surprised it's even taken this long?
I am surprised because Jesse Marsch was backed massively in the summer and brought in a lot of his own signings, and was again backed in this window with his own signings, players that he knows, has a sort of a personal connection with. I just think the club have looked at what's happened at Aston Villa, what's happened at Wolves, what's happened at Everton over the weekend. That new manager bounced and thought a little bit of panic. Some of his interviews of late haven't been great. Even yesterday saying, oh, we're not in a relegation battle. We're not even halfway through the season. Well, both of those were factually incorrect. So I just think they've maybe thought, if this carries on, 2 games against Manchester United back-to-back, seen what's happened there before, when Leeds have been heavily defeated, and obviously Manchester United in fantastic form at the moment, then I think the club may be a little bit worried about where it might be going, and they've decided, right, enough's enough. But clearly there's no thought in who the next manager's going to be. It's a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, maybe to the weekend.
Well, Mills, you said it there about a bit of a knee-jerk reaction as to who comes in next. Do you think maybe they've missed the trick by not doing this decision earlier and maybe getting Sean Dyche in or someone like that?
Definitely. But equally, they were clearly backing the manager up until this weekend. Wolves getting the result they did, Everton getting the result. When you look at when Jesse Marsch came in, I think they were 4th from bottom at the time, and obviously they narrowly escaped relegation on the last day of the season. But he's been backed incredibly heavily, since then. There's a lot of players have come through that door. The squad is hugely better from where it was. You flip that around and look at Everton, they sold their best player. They sold their number 9 in that time. They didn't add anybody else. They've not had anybody else in the transfer window. So you'd expect Everton to be in and around the same sort of position if you don't strengthen. Whether you think they're better players and they should be doing better or not, that's where you'd expect them to be. Leeds have spent big, some big wages in there, some big signings, and they just haven't performed, under Jesse Marsch. And I think the owners and the new board and maybe looked at it and just thought, we need to address this slide. 2 back-to-back games against Man United. Away first and then at home. You know what Leeds fans are like. You lose those 2 games, it will turn really, really toxic.
Let me ask you then, Dan, because you were talking to Benty about, maybe it was the wrong time to sack him and they've got to bring a new person in. Some Leeds fans would like to see the return of Bielsa. Would that be a good or a bad idea?
Well, he's only just got back on the plane, hasn't he, after speaking with Everton, and wanting to run their under-21s for something like 11 million quid a year. And let his other coaching staff do the first team. He might come back from Buenos Aires, perhaps, just have a quick meeting. I don't think that would be the right appointment. Bielsa ball was tremendous. It was fantastic. But it does have its flaws. And I don't think that's what you need to get out of a relegation battle. In fact, that's what got him into a relegation battle in the first place. It's very, very difficult to play that type of football. You're down the bottom of the league because you don't score enough goals and you're conceding goals. Simple as that. And you've got to address one of those situations. And you look at, whether you think it's right or wrong, you look at the appointment of Sean Dyche at Everton and you're thinking, well, he's going to stop conceding goals. He's going to make them very, very solid. If Bielsa comes into Leeds, they might score 1 or 2 more goals, maybe, but they didn't do that last time towards the end of his tenure, and they're going to concede loads. So is that going to improve them? I'm not so sure, but incredibly strange. 48 hours to go away to Manchester United? That could be disastrous for Leeds.
Dan, listen, appreciate you coming on. I know it's late notice, and I'm guessing, judging by the look of you, you're on your way to a Dermot Gallagher lookalike competition. So we're going to let you go. But
just come back off the golf course. You know what it's like.
Okay, with those lenses
I think
on,
I think he looks quite smart.
there's a bit of Joe 90 going on there.
Well, I can't see the computer screen without them. So old age.
How did you play today? How did you play?
It was just a bit of practice, but I was all right. Another game tomorrow.
Such a bandit, isn't he?
But yeah, when you get to my age, Benty, trust me, the eyesight starts to go.
This way. We're over here, this way.
Yeah. Where you go?
Dan, you're a star. Much appreciated
Cheers,
as always.
Millsy.
Thanks, pal.
Cheers, mate.
There you go. That was Danny Mills giving us his view.